Hello and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to my new little home studio. Sorry, I have been away for a very long time. It's been right at a month at this point. Things have been going on, things have been happening, things have been changing, and actually as a result of the move, I've gone back and discovered a lot of footage, what we're gonna call lost videos, lost episodes. And so today is gonna be one of those episodes, the very first, and I hope that you guys enjoy it. The first part of this video I actually filmed in our old home. It has at this point been almost 2 months ago. It's been a month and a half ago. So let's kick it off to that. In the past, I've looked at a lot of different gimbals, from handheld smartphone gimbals to things like the DJI Osmo and the RemoView K1, which I actually just looked at yesterday. And I even purchased a small gimbal for my mirrorless cameras last year, but it was just not quite powerful enough to handle anything more than just a tiny camera with a tiny lens. It's time to step up to the big boys. So today, we're gonna be taking a look at the Zhiyun Crane Plus. This thing is downright intimidating, I'm just gonna say it. Taking a look at the back of the box though, to see a little bit more about it, has a max payload of up to 2.5 kilograms, which I think is about 6 pounds. Camera control capability, so in theory you can run a cable from the crane itself to your camera. Unlimited 360-degree rotation, that is a big deal for me. The ability to spin it around left, right, and up and down and not have to worry about it hitting a hard edge like other ones do. You've got a list of all the accessories that are included down here. Of course it doesn't say what they are, but it does specifically mention Panasonic and Sony on these two. These are presumably what you'd plug in to actually control your camera, for Panasonic and Sony of course. It does also come with a mini tripod, and I think there may even be a case for it in here. Let's open it up and take a look. And then I'll probably take a little bit of time to actually use it, get some sample shots, get used to using it and balancing it and everything. This is not gonna be a one-day video. All right, immediately, very impressed. Very sturdy, rugged, hard side case to it. Does have the Zhiyun branding on it, of course. Then we pop it open. And here's what we find inside. So we have the Crane Plus user guide. I will probably end up actually reading through this to find out about how to balance it and all the things that I'm going to need to know to end up using this. We have some anti-slip grip tape, a micro USB to micro USB cable that says it's for Sony, a micro USB to what looks like 2.5mm cable that says it's for Panasonic on it, a traditional micro USB cable that is Zhiyun branded. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, so I'm gonna apologize in arrears and in advance. Moving on. Some silica gel, some batteries, and an external charger. The batteries say IMR 26500, 3.7 volt, 3600 milliamp hour. Should be pretty decent sized batteries. There's a couple of what appear to be copper screws. Not sure what this part is, but I'm guessing that these are related somehow. This looks to be the tripod that's included. Take that off and then, ooh, that is a sturdy little tripod. Not adjustable in any way, it just goes basically flat like this, but that's a pretty hefty little tripod. This looks to be where the batteries end up going. Probably something just like this, and then we'll attach it to the rest of it. Some more silica gel, and then the crane itself. And without attaching the batteries or anything, this thing is already decently heavy. It's not super heavy or anything, but it's got some heft to it. Looks like you've got an adjustment screw here at the bottom. So you just undo that, and it'll move left to right. There's an adjustment screw right here that allows the main plate to go up and down. Very solid sounding. And an adjustment screw right here, right next to the motor, that allows it to go left to right. So the first one was forward and back, left to right, up and down. So you're able to adjust all 3 points of articulation. There's a little bit of foam on there I missed. And these two little knobs allow you to adjust the position of your camera on this plate. So you'll apparently just put your camera on here, lock it down using this bottom knob. I'll figure all this out in due time. Go ahead and screw the base in though, where the batteries are. And it is very cool that the whole bottom can spin 360 with no problems. And taking a closer look at the control section here, it says we have mode. This looks like photo or power, and then W and T, which is zoom controls. Again, presumably if you've plugged into your camera, there's a micro USB port right here, and your main joystick that you'll move it around with, and what looks like a status LED. See what happens if I hold it. Just power it on. Well, I apparently have the batteries in there correctly. I just have to put a camera on and adjust things accordingly. I'm gonna turn this off before anything gets damaged though. But yes, everything about it seems to rotate 360 degrees with no issues whatsoever. So I am actually going to take a little bit of time, properly read through the manual, find out how to set everything up and what all the pieces and parts are. For example, this little Y-shaped piece is apparently the lens mounting clamp, and then the two mounting screws that I mentioned earlier. I think those are the only things I didn't really know what they were. But like I was saying, I am going to take a few minutes here, maybe more than a few minutes, and learn how to set all this up, put a camera on it with a pretty hefty lens, and just see exactly what it can hold and what you can do with it, and maybe get you some sample footage.
And we're back, and it's again a month and a half later. It is now the beginning of May. So where are we with this gimbal? First and foremost, let me just say this thing is built like a tank. I say as the air conditioning comes on. Anyway, I say that while kind of looking up and down because I'm actually currently filming using the Zhiyun Crane Plus, which sort of means that at any given time I can just kind of pick this up and take off with it, and hopefully it will follow me and keep me in focus, although the lighting in the scenario is going to kind of change as we move around. But the little bit of time I've spent walking around with this and testing it, absolutely rock solid, stable footage. It's my own filmmaking ability that's a little bit limited because I don't have an external monitor on this camera. I don't have any way to really keep track of what I'm seeing without being behind the camera. So without any further ado, let's do some quick gimbal shots. And we're back. Very quick montage, I realize. There's definitely an awful lot more that I could go into and I could say about the Zhiyun Crane Plus. Setting it up and balancing it was surprisingly not that difficult. You've basically got 4 different points of articulation at least, plus this little addition you can put on the front in case you have a longer lens on your camera. It'll hold a decent amount of weight. The added tripod is very handy if you want to sit it down on a table and very quickly go back and forth. But at the same time, that added tripod can be a bit of a hindrance. Like I said, if you're picking it up and quickly moving around, you're going to have this tripod in the way, and you can fold it down, but then you've got a lot of extra place to sort of hold on to, and it makes it a little bit heavier. It would be kind of nice, and this is probably not going to happen, but kind of nice, if moving forward they would do something kind of like this little Surui tripod that I've got where the legs fold up, and it's got a locking mechanism to hold them in place. That way you've always got the tripod on you, and you can always just click it and put the legs away, giving you a large, firmer grip. But having this tripod be removable does mean that you can always just take it off and put it away when you're not using it. Most of the time I would assume people using a gimbal like this are going to have things sort of prepared in advance, whereas I have little to nothing prepared in advance. There's also a way to connect to and sort of control the gimbal using your smartphone. They have an app. Didn't spend a whole lot of time with that. I did look into it, but it's kind of more geared toward their gimbals that work with smartphones. But it does have controls in there for setting up what type of camera you're using with it and calibrating the gimbal and doing things like that. I didn't spend a lot of time with that. I did try using their micro USB cable to control the A6300 using the gimbal, and it did not work correctly for me. I probably just did not do it correctly. But for the most part, it's basically just set it up and go. It's got 3 or 4, I think it's 4 different modes that you can use using the mode button. There's a pan mode, a follow mode, a selfie mode if you triple tap that mode button, and then a lock mode, so it'll stay locked on whatever it is you're pointing at. So it definitely ticks all the boxes in terms of the majority of types of situations you'd want to use a gimbal for, if not every single situation you can think of. It's even got an upside down mode, and like I said before, everything rotates 360 degrees, so it's not a big deal to get it upside down as long as your camera's not too big. So I am a ridiculously big fan of this thing. I'm just not very well practiced in it. In the footage that I showed earlier, you probably noticed a lot of bobbing. That's because I wasn't properly crab walking and stabilizing the stabilizer with my own hands. I was also dealing with 2 kids out there and trying to keep them away from the fence and away from the cows. We were just outside playing ball and having fun, and I wanted to capture some of it, so that was a good way to do so. So I definitely would like to take some more time and get a little bit more familiar with this and use it for more projects. Let me know what kind of things you might use something like this for. I think it retails for $569, something like that, which for a gimbal is not all that expensive. I've seen cheaper, but I've seen a lot more expensive, and the amount of weight that this will hold and the amount of features that it has, it ticks a lot of boxes. So thank you guys as always for watching. Again, sorry for disappearing for as long as I did. I'm definitely going to try to be back as frequently as possible. I did start a new job, so I'm no longer working from home, which means I don't have quite as much time to be down here in my little man cave working on videos as I'd like. But I'm gonna try to get back to that. So hit the thumbs up button if you like the video. Subscribe to the channel though, if you want to get notified when I do put out new videos. Check that little notification bell. It's got a couple of different options there, so you can actually get notified when new videos come out. I've started doing it myself for channels like Casey Neistat and Captain Sparkles and just a few other channels that I want to receive notifications whenever they put out new content. Casey Neistat's a must. But again, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for sticking with the channel. We'll see you again very soon.